My heart is beating fast. I've felt the intensification building all day. At the wonder of the creative process that brings us all together tonight. So good to have you friends from Korea join us. Most of us from North America, but one friend from England where it's early morning. It's been a very deep and peaceful day here with a sense of profound mystery and stillness gathering throughout the afternoon. It's been a very joyous day as all this has begun to gather together. And at the same time, there has been a deep and solemn feeling in my heart as well at the significance of this occasion that brings this segment of mankind, East and West, together to share in the generation of the rich substance and spirit of the motherland. Another term for the motherland, spirit and substance, is the spirit of the new earth. And a term that could be used for the fatherland of mankind, the invisible planes of being, could be the new heaven. So we have the substance and the spirit of the new heaven and the new earth being brought together today by reason of our presence. There has been quite a profound series of services and classes take place in Korea over recent months and coming to a particular point of intensity in recent weeks. And some of us here from North America have had the pleasure of joining you and feeling what's taking place. The rapid expansion and emergence of a new sense of identity. The one I am coming forth through the individual and through the grouping, various groupings of you that gather there. About a week ago, we shared in a very rich and fine service with Jay Young, speaking from Jeju. And the next morning here in North America, we had an equally extraordinary service shared with us here by John Gray, who many of you in Korea know, and Chris Jorgensen, a master attunement server. And I believe his book on attunement has been translated into Korean. But then last night here and Sunday morning in Korea, a profound and deeply moving service led by Eugen, the spirit of which is, well, I find it amazing that he actually put it into words. The quality of the spirit that was moving and the substance of agreement and oneness that gathered. And for our friends here in North America who don't know, when Jae Young or Eugen or Marsha speak from Korea or others, they speak in Korean and then translate that sentence or short paragraph into English immediately, and then move back to Korean and then back to English in a continuous and beautiful dance throughout the whole hour, sometimes 2 hours of speaking and translating. It's quite an art, extraordinary. And I've been reflecting on what a exquisite range of substance is generated because of just that act of translating into the two languages and unifying the body of people together that gather in the current of the Spirit of the Lord of Love, whose name is I am that I am, and the Lord of Truth, whose name is I am. And we here come in the name of I am, in great joy to be in the presence of the Spirit of I am that I am, the Lord of the Sacred Seven, the Lord of Love. And it's a profound joy to welcome Jae Young and Dookie to speak today. And when we have an opportunity to make comments at the end, let's remember to speak a little slower and very clearly pronounce our words so that they can be clearly understood, particularly by Dookie, who speaks English much, much, much more beautifully than just 2 years ago. So Jae Young, my joy to welcome you and dance with you again in this way. And I open for you now to carry us forward.
Thank you, David, for your beautiful introduction of us Korean activities. I am Dookie, privileged to be invited to this temple service where angels in agreement gather at the upper room in consciousness to give worship to our King and bring forth blessings of our Lord through us to the world. Dookie will open our time with reading a poem of Yolanda. Turn it over to Dookie.
In the motherland, the world was aglow with a golden light. Gentle breezes blowing carried fragrance of mystic flowers. And through the mellow radiance, there moved the forms of God. All the earth was still, while through the stillness came the soft, sweet song of birds, whose notes never fell on mortal ears. For the motherland, a sacred day had dawned. The cycles of the earth were swinging toward the dawning of a new sun cycle, which men now call a year. For 7 days, the 7 rays within the temple flame were now to serve in temple rites, ordained to bless the closing days of the old sun cycle and usher in the expanding vision of the new, wherein the flaming symbol of the temple of the sacred tree should bring new life and blessing to all who would respond within the flame. The hosts of blessed ones had gathered in the gardens, wherein the temple of the sacred tree shone forth as a priceless gem. From every land on earth, the blessed ones had come, and in the hush of human sounds, the strains of sweet heaven's song came floating through the space around the earth for all to hear. To the mystic single eye, the gathered hosts were points of light, drawn to the point of burning within the altar flame, shone forth, enfolding all the earth. In the center of the focal flame, with whiteness betokening the Ri-U-On, the magnificence of the sacred temple became a living thing, and the walls were changed to crystal, so that all the people in the gardens could see within the temple's sacred halls. And lo, through the vision of the blessed one who graced the gardens of the temple, all people on the earth who had the vision of the single eye could watch the sacred service, which now began within the altar flame. The 7 days for the 7 rays were thus ordained to let men know the secret of the ascending flame. And so it was that the first day, while what was dedicated to the seventh ray, while each succeeding day should serve a lesser ray until the flaming orb should move majestically through the gateway of the new sun cycle. The high priestess of the seventh ray stood first as goddess of the altar flame and kneeled for all the earth before the Lord of Sacred Three, while the symbol of His Majesty enfolded all the changing sea. And then the stillness became more still until the very stillness became more thin as sound. And all the gathered host shone forth as flame of light before the coming of Lord of the Sacred Seven. For there, within the flame orb, the King of Kings appeared in all the majesty of the seven sacred words, which form the holy word. The Lord of Lords had come with sacred hand stretched forth in blessing, and from within the stillness there came the sweetest strain of heaven's most sacred songs, and every being gathered there and everywhere joined in the song of adoration to the one who was and is the one of all. Words which humans form cannot portray the sacred scene, which then unfolded for all who knew themselves within the single eye. Let all the earth rejoice and gather in the gardens of the temple within the sacred center of the Mother. For lo, the temple service begins again on earth. Our high priestess of the seventh ray again comes first on earth before the Lord of the Sacred Three. And from within the center of the flaming fire, the Lord of Lords and King of Kings comes forth in all his majesty, and every eye shall see him as he is, and every knee now bow before him. Let every lip acknowledge him, and let his love uplift each one into the world.
Thank you, the kids. Very beautiful. Martin once opened the service with these words: "Come and worship the living God, that the peace of God may be in all the earth." All of you who are present here this morning have issued this invitation. It is your invitation to come and worship the living God. I trust our time will be such time of worship the living God, so that the peace of God may be in all the earth. I have a deep longing to have such a time since my early days of the emissaries. When I met emissaries after wandering many years in Christianity and the others, I thought I finally came to the destination where I didn't need to wander anymore. Soon after I started to go through the opening cities, I found myself that I could not read any other materials or books I enjoyed very much before. I could read only emissary materials, and the Bible as an only exception. And I had a deep yearning to be together with those who could share the truths I started to know. We had a small gathering to share that in Seoul, but it was not enough for me. When we are with those who have spiritual agreement with us, we experience freedom in expressing ourselves. We don't need to guard ourselves, so to speak. We can be naked as we are. But it is not easy to meet with such people, not only in Korea, but also in the world. Most of the people are trying to judge everything and try to find whether it is good for them or not to be with us. We have longing to live in such a world where we can be free to be ourselves. In the early days, getting some information on the emissary communities through the emissary journals like the Eden Valley News and the Northern Light was like a bottle of water to my thirsty heart. Meeting with emissary friends at the Asian Council, which was annually held several times in Korea, And meeting with emissary teachers at the seminar, which were held nearly once a year, were great gifts to me at that time. Whenever I went out of Korea on a business trip, I tried to find emissary friends living near the places I visited through emissary rectories. So I could meet with quite many overseas emissary friends and shared great time. I still remember most of their names, whom I met in Rome, Padova, London, Stuttgart, Sydney, and Melbourne in the early days. Now, I realized that this kind of yearning was related to the deep longing to return to the motherland, our original state of being. And it relates to giving a living service, as Martin said. Then what is the living service? Martin said in one of his services that all true service is based in the worship of God. But how to worship God? Martin said again, there's a passage in the book of Revelation which refers to the so-called mystery of God, indicating that there should come a time when it would be finished. But how? Martin gave the answer. It requires the acceptance of responsibility on the part of people in the revelation of God on earth. That revelation comes through human being, made in the image and likeness of God, or it doesn't come. In another service, Martin said, the reality described by the word God cannot be known until it is individually expressed. It is more than words. It is living, the expression of life characterized by love and truth. So we are here in the business of revealing God by expressing God in our daily living. We know that it is our sacred responsibility and privilege. We reveal God in every circumstance we meet, every moment, every day, every month, and all the time. It should be the reality of our life. But in the world, it is as it is now, today, there are not many people who know this truth. That's the only reason for the tribulation that the world and the inhabitants of the world are experiencing. From long ago, people tried to find out an answer to get out of their tribulations. We know that one of the approaches was to worship God, who seemed to be the causes of everything. But nobody seemingly succeeded in this. Martin said in the service, it was impossible at the beginning point for anyone to experience the truth of knowing, because their expression in life was far from divine. So the only way that contact could be made was by reason of representation. But we know it, as it had been involved and taught in a sacred heritage which Rwanda initiated after he awoke to the truth of himself. He realized the truth which our Master Jesus taught 2,000 years ago. It is not theoretical nor theological at all. It is directly involved in every moment of our daily living. So Martin asked, after he said the initial word which I quoted in the beginning, is the invitation that you have extended genuine? Is it an invitation to come and worship the living God because this is what composes your living? If our answer for the question is yes, which means that every moment our individual living is truly composed of revelation of living God, then the mystery of God starts to be dissolved. That means each of us become representation for the other to follow. Then what comes next? Martin said, contained in the book of Revelation is a particular reference to a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. Through her was born a man-child who should rule the nation with a rod of iron. This man-child was caught up unto God and to the throne, so that it was impossible for the great red dragon standing by to devour the child. Here we have the portrayal of the dissolution of the mystery of God, the emergence of what might be called the government of God, the emergence into the consciousness of man of the reality of the government of God. And he added, I suppose we could use this term emissary of divine light or woman clothed with the sun alternatively. Here we can see our initial mission as Martin outlined. Our initial mission is this. We let the reality of the government God emerge into our consciousness as our individual living is truly composed of revelation of the living God. I trust it is our unchanging mission and our destiny. When we walk through our destiny, we can see what we experienced in the past with a higher, new perspective. Long ago, in 1980s, when Korea was under the military dictatorship, the president then was assassinated by his close crony. There was an attempt to continue the same kind of military regime by a newly formed military group. It was a kind of another coup. There occurred strong resistance to the unlawful military movement, especially in Gwangju, the southern part of Korea, my hometown. We call it Gwangju Uprising or May 18 Gwangju Democratization Movement. Many people were shot dead. I was desperate, really, and I wanted to leave Korea. I thought there's no hope remained in Korea at that time. I want to emigrate to the United States. That time, I was already 35 years old. But there was no other way for me to go to the United States except being a status of student. To get that status, I needed to study English very hard. But I failed to get the admission from the university in the United States. But I found there was a hidden reason why I needed to study English that hard later, after I meeting emissaries. I realized that heaven was preparing for me to walk through my destiny. That was encountering the emissaries. When the emissaries seemed to be weakened and even dissolved in the early 1990s, we also experienced a kind of that separation in Seoul. A few key members departed, blaming some aspects of the situation of the emissaries at that time. Except that we could continue to meet for a Sunday service every week without getting much influence from the outside events. Eventually, we started to create a community in Jeju and had a communal life for about 15 years, including the heron farm experience. And when we decided to dissolve community in Jeju, to move our educational activities to Seoul, some of our old members experienced deep sadness. But we are coming out of such painful experience to be here with you in this time to worship the living God, that the peace of God may be in all the earth. This is short story of my experience. I like to close my speaking, but I want to close my time with a prayer which Martin gave in his service long ago. Our great Lord and King, in whom all the divine qualities rightly differentiated through us come to focus. We rejoice to acknowledge the truth of thy government, willingly opening ourselves to the experience of it, that we may know what it is emerging out of the environment with the power structure of man. We live by thy spirit on earth in the fulfillment of the purpose for which we are here. The nature of that purpose unfolds to us and becomes known to us as we are indeed governed by thy spirit, as we are indeed a part of thy kingdom on earth in the Christ. Now, I want to invite any comment from you. Anything. What you are experiencing now in this service.
Jae Young and Dookie, I would love to honor you and your decades and decades of true service to the King. Despite any language barrier, despite any distance of continents, despite any ruffles that occurred in the organization or in government or whatever, it is the constant, the consistent love of the Lord, worshiping the Lord in spirit and in truth. And the words that you spoke, Jae Young, a living example of the word made flesh, the truth, in spirit and in your own words and expression. And Dookie, when you read the poem, they were your words. And it was a fountain of liquid gold, the substance of love. And so I honor what you do and who you are and have continued and will always be the eternal expression of the Lord in action on earth. Thank you.
Thank you for your longing to the right direction. Yeah, our souls or motherland. So your guidance, let me be here now with you and all of our angelic friends. Thank you so much for your life.
Out of every nation, people, and tongue, he has called his people for this time. And I am so happy to connect with you there. It's a part of the world I haven't traveled, but I know kindred spirits when I hear them. And it is such a wonderful experience to rejoice in the word of the Lord all together. I wouldn't have missed this event for anything. Bless you. And I am so happy to know you.
Thank you for this most moving time together with you. And Jae Young, you said, you quoted, and the mystery of God should be finished on earth. And as both you and Dookie was reading that beautiful poem, I was thinking to myself, well, here we are. The in our song of praise and thanksgiving, the words that follow that, the mystery of God is finished on earth. Come and behold him and her. And here we are. The two of you revealed that for all of us, but here we all are. And like you were saying, Jae-young, it is our responsibility, each and every one, to make sure that the mystery of God is finished on earth, because we, each one, take the responsibility in every moment to express the reality of God on earth. Thank you.
Well, I would also like to offer my deep thanksgiving for this opportunity to be with all of you. Whatever nation one may claim to come from, it is the one nation of God. And it has been a beautiful experience to just be here together. There's so much more that we have experienced than just the words, because sometimes the words may be difficult to even understand. But the spirit of them is what has come through so clearly today. And it made me recall that Ron and I were just up taking a hike up in the snowy range of Wyoming today, out in the beautiful, stunning wildlands. And we met so many beautiful people who do resonate with the spirit, with us. And I so marvel at what you folks are doing in Korea, bringing this as a real live leadership for the rest of the body of man. I mean, we've been about it for a number of years on the North American continent, but you have taken up the leadership, which takes us across the globe. And with all the different kinds of lifestyles that have been there, and I certainly could understand the difficulty of dealing with the oppressiveness of government that's wanting to, take over the human state. And interestingly enough, today, one of the couples that we met on the trail, no idea who they were or where they came from, but we got to talking, and there was this real heart connection and resonance with just the spirit of what we're talking about today. And they were from Czechoslovakia, and they had come to the United States to find a new life, a new sense of freedom to be who they are and to connect in that way. And they know nothing about emissaries, and we didn't talk those kind of words, but we shared the spirit of oneness, of this love for something beyond the human state as we've known it, and a sense of responsibility in leading the way out of this chaotic place. And they were very responsive when I spoke about having it to start here with me, not to look around at everybody else and condemn what's going on or blame somebody else, but just know that I am responsible. I carry that power, and the dominion of God, whatever word you want to use, is what is being called forth through each of us who have this longing about which you were speaking. So it is beautiful to share this with you, to know angels, other friends in the kingdom right here in this place. And I must say, I thank Eugen for bringing so much of this to focus for Korea, and David now carrying it forth. I mean, everybody has such a unique part to play. So this is indeed a joy, and I appreciate you and honor you with all. Thank you.
I wanted to thank you, Jae Young and Dookie. I'm sorry, go right ahead. I'll go after.
Thank you, Bill. My name is Sunwa Che. I want to take this chance to say hello to you all. And since the time difference is very difficult to join this meeting directly, but I have been with you all through the words sent by, and this is very good chance for me to really join in person. And this kind of involvement is very important because in Eastern world, the time that the using in the States is quite different, very difficult to join to some people. So we need to include all. So the word moves. So we move around with the spirit. That's the feeling that I have. And many Koreans cannot join and others in Asian field because of language difference and language barriers. But as Jaeyoung and Dookie did, language is not a real problem. We can go through and the spirit goes beyond. And how wonderful to be together in this way. And particularly this time of the day, somebody from the States visited Taiwan and made a big ruffle in the world, particularly for the safety of Eastern world. But this another invitation and connection from North American continent makes another different kind of ripples and make peace and make calm and stillness on earth. So what's going on in the world these days and what we are doing is all included in creative process. And it's all said, Jaeyoung said, the mystery of God is finished. We are on earth, God in action on earth. Whether we speak up or we just speak in silence and in stillness, it all works together and many, many more are joining us in stillness and in spirit. So this part of the world is not just a small entity and a small representation. You know, small is very precious. Something good, comes always in a small. Somebody always told me when I was in the States, because I'm very short and small in size. Anyway, it's quite precious time to us all and to this part of the continent and what's going on in this world at this moment in everywhere. So the mystery of God is really finished. God in action on earth through us. Thank you.
Pamela and I have been blessed to know Sunwa for more than 40 years. And Sunwa, you introduced us to Jaeyoung and Dookie more than 40 sun cycles ago. And I would echo what Pamela said about the steadfastness that has always been present through all these many years, joined later by Eugen and Marcia for the past 15 or so years. There has been a core, a nucleus of radiant strength present. some of the effects of that are showing up in wonderful young people's leadership, but a lot of it has yet to appear in a visible sense, yet the impact and creative effect of the presence of those who come in the name of the Lord is immeasurable. Some of us are on the other side of the Pacific Ocean right now from those in Korea. And yet that what seems like a very large expanse has closed in this hour.
Peace, peace be unto you. Peace, peace be unto you. That the peace of God may be known on earth. That the peace of God be known on Amen.
Thank you, Pendel. How beautiful. And thank you, John. I want to encourage Nore and maybe one or two other Koreans, even if their English is a little short, to say something in this unique opportunity to be together as a whole body. 노래님 혹시 영어로 말하고 싶으면은 격려해요. 또 다른 분도 짧게라도.
아까 시애님이 손 드셔서 시애님 먼저 하시고.
통역 가능한가요, 유진님?
영어로 하지. 한마디 영어로 시작해.
Thank you, 재영님 and others. I felt a higher vibration from Jeong's service and his poem, and others' response. I totally agree. We are one, and we are God's daughter. 네, 유진님 통역 좀 해주세요. 제가 이제 말할게요.
I'll translate.
한국에서 14년 정도 에미서리 활동을 해왔습니다.
I've been part of the emissary activities in Korea for 14 years.
여러분들이 느끼시는 것보다 한국에는 에미서리 활동을 하는 사람들이 훨씬 더 많습니다.
Probably a lot more than you perceive or feel. The activities and the numbers of people participating are quite large in Korea.
저희는 요란다와 마틴의 말씀을 유진 마샤 재영님으로부터 배웠습니다.
We learned the word as expressed through Yoranda Martin, through Eugene, Marsha, and Jaeyoung.
지금 우리는 단순히 제자가 아닙니다.
And now we're not just disciples.
우리는 유진, 재형, 마샤님과 함께 마더랜드의 중심에 서 있습니다.
We, together with our focus points, we are standing in the center of the motherland as well.
저희가 있는 곳에서 하늘의 통로로서 활동하고 있습니다.
In the place where we each are, we are being channels for the action of heaven on earth.
오늘 이렇게 함께 진동할 수 있어서 너무나 기쁩니다. 감사합니다.
I'm so deeply thankful today to be able to vibrate together in this way.
Thank you for joining this service. It's very special time for me. I also very beating hard now. Especially, I'm very thankful his senior member in here, include Eugene and Jaehyung and everyone. When I watch you, I can feel the way of love. How beautiful, how deep, how long. I can feel your longing, and also at the same time, I can feel my longing. So very thankful to watch your sparkling eyes, and a lovely feeling smile, even we don't know each other. Yes, some of you know each other. Yeah, I understand everyone knows Jaehyung already for 40 years, but we are baby in here. But through Eugene, through Jaehyung, through Duki, we grown up much. Already Sian mentioned about it. We are stay here, member of you, not only student. We are stand up here as a member of Motherland. This means we are one family, even know each other. I'm very grateful to join here. I'm very, very, very happy to listen Jaehyung Duki voice in here. It was very beautiful. I hope we meet again. Beyond language. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
영수님이나 다른 분도?
Hi, it's Michael. This is first time to join this conference. First of all, I do appreciate Jaehyung saying and Duki님's poem. Despite language barrier, I would like to express my gratitude to everyone. It was really glory to join here. So as Nore said, we are one family. Let's show the glory of the God in the world. Thank you.
Hi.
내가 통역할 수도 있어요.
Yeah. Hi, this is Yang Seo. I'm very happy to see you all. And I feel very gratitude your beings, your because of you guys, we can feel more deep being of God, and I don't know how to express in English well, but I have a deep feeling for thankfulness for all of you, and also Jae-young's service is very touching, and his being was very precious for Koreans, and Eugene and Marsha also very, very precious for us. And all this gift is from God, and I can feel all of heaven's love right now. So anyway, thank you very much.
The poem had some images that were very vivid. One of them was that those who were gathered for the ceremony were those who carried the spirit of the single eye. And another image was that the walls became crystal as the temple formed by people like us who are part of that gathering, that ceremony. The walls do become clear. The flame that's inside shows through the crystal walls. And I feel that happening with us today. We're shining through crystal walls, and any walls that we thought were there disappear, and there's union. And the light that shines because of people living, as Jae-young was saying, in the spirit of the single eye, then it is seen by the world. So I appreciate being part of a living temple with beautiful music. Thank you, Pendel. To have this ceremony across the Pacific and allow the walls to be crystal clear and the flame very visible. Thank you.
In Christ there is no east or west, in him no south or north, but one great fellowship of love throughout the whole wide earth.
Nore, could you for a moment do the motherland chant that you created? Just a moment.
Motherland, 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 motherland.
Thank you, Nore. Such a beautiful, beautiful current. And thank you, Jaeyoung and Vicky, for this truly fine service. And your reading, Vicky, was truly beautiful. A group of 17 of us, maybe 3-4 weeks ago, Korean servers had gathered and we worked with this chant and the motherland poem. And in the conclusion of it, we reached a vibrational point of union and centering in which we chanted a modified version of Nore's chant. And that modified version was, I am motherland. I am motherland. I am motherland. I am motherland. And as we chanted this together, and each one chanted and spoke the word alone, I am motherland, it made clear that motherland was not in the past, but is, because I am. And because I am the source of motherland. And this is the mystery of God, finished on earth, that the source of motherland is present on earth because we are present in the place revealing God in expression on earth. And to be about this now and not about the past, not about what was, the motherland of the emissaries that was, but rather the motherland and the emissaries and the God that is. And as we are in this way, there's so much more to come forth. And we are just the beginning. And so wonderful to be in this place of being source now for the creation that heaven is seeking to pour through now in a time when more than ever before, everything is ready. So wonderful to be the mystery of God, of the Creator, finished on earth together.
I was
Do you
reading,
want to add anything?
yeah, I just wanted to say that I was reading earlier today a paper of Yolanda from 1946. And he had just completed a 2-month class. And the completion of that class came on September 16th, 1946. It was the ending of the second 7-year cycle of his ministry and the opening of the third 7-year cycle. He mentioned at that time it was the first experience he had in any session, any class he'd ever taught, where there was a sense of completion and fulfillment, and that everything had gone perfectly and that everyone had come through into a new experience, come through a gate that they didn't really know was there to what was present beyond that gate. I think this service we've shared today marks the opening of our recognition of the anniversary of Yolanda's awakening and what we've been able to share over months and years, what we've been able to share today of the spirit and the substance and the identity of the motherland. So between now and the next 3 weeks, what you share in Korea and what we share here and other places around the world, I think we can go with a remembrance of those words that Jae Young spoke, of the woman clothed with the sun. Yolanda said another name for the woman clothed with the sun could be emissaries of divine light. There are probably other names as well, but when we think of the woman clothed with the sun, we think of the mother and the motherland, and the son, we think of the father and the fatherland. And there's been a great yearning in the father for the return of the mother and the motherland through human beings. I feel the presence of the Lord of the Sacred Seven and the Lord of the Sacred Three with us, as Anne spoke about the transparent crystal and the light from within that lets us see what's really there and unites us instead of separates us. In the same way, our experience here is wide open to them to observe what's happening through men and women on earth, not just us, but others as well, as a representation of the return of the woman who is rightly to be clothed with the sun, find union with the Son, Father God and Mother God, present again. The yearning for the mother with the father and the father with the mother. The yearning for heaven for the return of the earth, and the yearning for the earth to return to the heaven and the union. So as men and women, it's absolutely delightful to find ourselves a part of the body of the woman clothed with the sun, with a heart open to the sun, to one another, and to the source of life that I am here on earth, that you are. So sharing this is so beautiful. And as I say, a door, a portal is opened for us to let an increase come over the next several weeks and beyond that again, as we gain a greater understanding of what we are called to do together as the woman clothed with the radiance of the sun. Thank you, Jae Young. Thank you, Dookie. Lovely to hear from everybody in Korea, and for some of us from here to speak with you. I trust this promises more such occasions than the temple in the days to come. Thank you, Jae Young.
David, can I just say a word before we finally disperse?
Yes.
I felt this important enough to interject. And that is that regarding the motherland and the emissaries, the negative aspect of the motherland sank. The positive aspect of the motherland never sank. The positive aspect of the motherland, the heaven aspect, was the greater aspect. And it never sank, has always been present, is present now. And that is who we are. The negative aspect of the emissaries of divine light, in a way, sank. The positive aspect, the heaven aspect of the emissaries of the divine light never sank, has always been present, and is more alive and present now because we are. So I think a shifting of our perspective about the motherland and about the emissaries of divine light is quite important. That the negative aspects did go through the shattering, but the positive has always been and is vibrantly present now to be given form and to bring forth the negative aspect now. And today I felt this, the union of what has been happening in the East here and all of you in the other parts of the world together was a special opportunity to bring forth the reality of our greater being. And I feel the inception and beginning of something new also. So thank you, Jae-young and Dookie, and also you, David, and others for bringing this union.
Thank you, Eugene, for reminding us that the positive aspects of motherland and emissaries have not sank. It's very important understanding of the reality of what we are and who we are. That which cannot be sank because we are living. We are living as such in the image and likeness of God. I think before clothing, I thought Dookie might have something to add in this time.
Yeah, I would like to say about the several reasons why I read Yolanda's poem in the motherland. When I heard the poem first, motherland word itself stirred my deep memory within subconscious realm. The vibration of motherland let me remember the Garden of Eden, home, a field by Rumi, and even the mythology of creator goddess, Salmonde Halma, grandmother, Salmonde grandma of JHL. And I could understand the poem relatively well enough because I have read Yolanda's early booklet, Talks Beside Sundial, Volume 1, 2, Tryon Ray, and 7 Steps to the Temple of Light, all of which were written from 1936 to 1937, same year as the poem. I found the poem in which there are the essential words from the above booklet. For example, of the Lord of Sacred Tree in the poem, I was very familiar with the phrase in Talks Beside the Sundial, Volume 1. Each night, we have slept within the flaming triangle of Father's radiance, which is the Christ, light, love, and life. Actually, the phrase has been my lullaby through which I have often slept very well. To enter into the sacred secret garden with Yolanda since last year. Any other familiarity with Yolanda came from his sunrise service, January 28, 1951, in which he mentioned about Korean War. When I was just 1 year and 7 months old baby. And my mother, with me and my 5-year-old sister, went from home down frozen roads for finding our shelter and warmth. I couldn't remember then, but I have felt my mother's bosom's warmth, safe and peaceful in the middle of Korean War on behalf of God. Yolanda's service and his life itself on earth let me know who he is. In context of the World Great Depression, he had miserable experience of shelter for warmth and hunger. When I read his service, Feed My Sheep, in which he described vividly what it is to be cold and to have no place to go for shelter and warmth, I wept. And so his miserable experiences seemed like crucifixion of Jesus. And yeah, the resurrection of both of them let us regenerate the motherland.
Thank you, Duki. As Dave said, we'll celebrate 90th anniversary of the initiation of the ministry by Yolanda next month. I'm very glad that we can pave a way to that great anniversary together, remembering our mission again this time. John Gray concluded in his recent studies like this. Altogether, we compose a conscious focus of identity for humanity, prepared and able to serve the whole planet and beyond. I'm very glad to share this time together. And I'll turn it over to Steve.
Vidad. It's wonderful to be together. What we shared are the currents that are those positive currents, Eugene, you're talking about, of the motherland. And I think we have a sense in each one of us that those currents are moving right now between us. And they're recreative currents that are actually happening. I can feel them in the Pacific Ocean that we share on both sides of. So let's keep this current moving for the creative nature for restoration to occur. Our next Temple of Light service will be on September 18th, and Robert Merriman and Arno will be leading us during that time for our anniversary service. And I'm sure the you folks in Korean will be sharing that time concurrently with us. And we look forward to it as we continue in these currents that we're sharing now. Robert, you have some music for us to commune together.